Hello beautiful people, it's your girl Genie and it's Genie's Signatures. So today I'll be making this beautiful jumpsuit with a half cut, that is, it has a half length. This is very beautiful. It came out wonderful, it came out beautiful, and the fabric that I used was just so on point. So just like you saw on the thumbnail, this is the remake of that on the thumbnail. So if this is what you're interested in, please kind of watch till the end. As you're watching, don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to share, and don't forget to give this video uh, a like, and kindly leave beautiful comments and encouraging comments, because it's not easy, I can tell you that. So thank you all, and thank you. So thank you to all my amazing subscribers. I really appreciate every one of you. So without wasting further time, we're going right over to cutting out this beautiful piece. So sit back, relax, and let's enjoy the ride. So I have my fabric folded on the table. As you can see, I'll be cutting the lower part first. Now I'm going to be cutting the trouser part first, because like I told you, this is going to be having a half length or a half cut. So I already folded my fabric based on my thigh measurement, because the thigh measurement is like the biggest part when we're making trousers, because you divide that by 2 and then you add 1 inch sewing allowance. So, and then the next thing I'll be doing is just to get the length of the trouser. So that is what I'm trying to get right there, the length of the trouser. In order for you to determine this, you subtract your full length from your half length, and then whatever is left will be your trouser length. So this is what I have on the fold. What I had was 41 inches, and then I added 3 inches extra for the sewing allowance, that is to join the lower part and then to join the upper part to the half length. So the first line I'll be marking now is my crotch depth. So for your crotch depth for this kind of jumpsuit, you divide your hip measurement by 4, and then you're going to be adding 1 inch or 2 inches. You know, this is a jumpsuit, it's not like the normal trousers. So I would advise you use either 1 inch or 2 inches, depending on how big your client is. So in this case, I just added like an inch to my hip divided by 4, so that that place will be free. Or preferably, you can just make it 1.5 inches. If it's too big around that area, you can just go and adjust it. So it's always better to be safe than sorry. So I got that first, and then I'll be getting my waist to my hip line as well, because that is where we'll be placing our hip measurement. So whatever your hip measurement is, you mark that as well. Sorry, this chalk, I'm using a blue chalk. I don't know why it's not that visible, but probably because I have like a slight height problem. I'm not seeing it from my camera angle like this, but probably you that you're watching, you can see it very well. So now the next thing I'm doing now is to just divide the hip measurement divided by 4, and that is what I'm marking on that hip line, and then I added 1 inch for sewing allowance. And right there on the crotch line, I'll be dividing my thigh measurement into 2, and then I'll mark whatever that is, and then I'll equally add 1 inch sewing allowance. And so now I'll just be drawing out my crotch curve from that hip line to the crotch curve. Just make like a slanted C, like so. Just draw it out like so. And then the next thing I'll be doing now is to just draw that line that I have on the hip line and the distance straight up to the waistline. That is how I'll just be getting my waistline. So I drew the line straight up to meet the waistline. So on the waistline now, I'll be taking my waist measurement. So whatever you used for your half cut is what you're going to be using for the trousers, so that everything is going to rhyme. The only difference might be the sewing allowances. So for the waistline, I'm just dividing by 4. I'll mark, add 1 inch for my dart, because I'm going to be putting that in this, and then I'll add 1 inch sewing allowance for this lower part. So that is what I did right there, and then I'll connect it to my hip measurement. I didn't know the camera didn't capture that, but you can see that with my pattern master. That is what I'm about to do. Just connect from your waist to your hip, like so. So making use of this is quite dicey somehow, because the fabric is kind of a shaky fabric that it doesn't really sit as in where you put it. Yeah, So but I'm just trying to manage it like so. So just connect it. Even if it's your free hand, you can make use of that and you're good to go. And so I'm just trying to use my hand to highlight it very, very well. And so that is what we have. So we have our waist, we have our hip, and then we have our crotch. So the next thing we're basically going to do is just to give it a little bit tightening on the hip area or on the thigh area. So whatever I have on the thigh area, that is what I have. I'll be dividing that into two just to get the midpoint. There's something I just want to try out. I've not done this before. What I did was like different from this actual thing I'm doing, but I just want to see how it's going to be coming out. So I divided that into two and I got the midpoint, and from that line of the crotch depth I'll be coming down by 3 inches. As you can see, you can come down by 3 or 4 inches just from your thigh, from your crotch to your thigh. Yeah, you can see, even if you check yourself, you see that from your crotch to your thigh is not, there's no much distance between them, so 3 inches should be more than enough. So I'm just going to be marking my thigh measurement divided by 2. You know, I added 1 inch sewing allowance on the crotch when I did that, but on this line that I just marked, that I came down by 3 inches, I just want to divide my thigh measurement. Like for example, the thigh measurement is 26 divided into 2, that will give me 13. So that 13, I'm going to be marking 6.5 on one side and 6.5 on one side. You know that we are cutting the front, so by the time we add up both the front and the back, it will give us a total of that 26 inches. So I'm not adding any sewing allowances to this front at the crotch, the thigh area that I just did. I'm adding an allowance to the back so that it will not affect anything. I believe you understand me. So I just want to try this out, and when I tried it and my client wore it, this came out very beautiful. It gave it that tightening around the thigh area, as you can see on the thumbnail, as you can see the way it was on the model that wore it. So basically you just take that line down to the length of the trouser and then you cut it out. So that is basically what I'm doing now. So just follow as I'm cutting it out. I'm not just going to be fast forwarding this. I just want you to see everything step by step. So now I'm cutting the crotch and then I'm going over up to the waist area. And then for the side as well, you know, because I divided the thigh measurement like that, so I have like some inches left, so I'm going to be cutting that out, because this is going to be a palazzo, as you saw on the thumbnail. So depending on how wide you would want your palazzo to be, this is entirely dependent on you. It's based on preference, it's based on choices. So now I'm cutting it through like so. And then I've cut out the front piece. So this is what we have right here. So you can see the crotch, you can see everything. That is how it's going to be looking. So basically now I'm going to be folding under the fabric and then I'll be cutting out the back piece. So if you've watched up to this level, please kindly subscribe, like, share, and share. So now for the back, I'll just be placing the front on the back. I folded my back piece into 2 as well, as you can see. So I'm just trying to extend my crotch. If you're used to my trouser tutorials, you should be used to how I do this. And then on the waist area, I'll come in by 2 inches and then I'll go up by 2 inches as well. And so to that 2 inches that I came in with, I'm going to extend it at that side where I'm standing, and then I'll mark the 2 inches all the way down. So this 2 inches is going to be serving as my sewing allowance. Remember I told you that I didn't add any sewing allowance to the front part, so I'm adding the sewing allowances to the back part. And so for the crotch, I'm just going to be extending it like so. So it's quite easy. And then on the crotch area, I'll just take that my 2 inches, I'll carve it down and then carve 1 inch down all the way to the length. So we're basically through with the back piece. So I'm just going to be cutting this out. So I did this in a fast forward mode because I didn't want to waste time and I felt like there were little alterations to do at this back. So if you feel you didn't understand what I did right here, just check out my previous tutorials on how to make trouser. This is exactly what I did here. And so that is our crotch for the back. You can see that the crotch for the back is always longer than that of the front. So now I'm just notching that to indicate where my dart is going to be for the back. So this is the half length. So this is like cutting your normal half cut or basic bodice, and I'm going to be using a regular dart or a normal dart for these. No princess dart, no bustier, nothing, just the normal dart, you understand? So I just got my bust measurements divided by 4, added sewing allowances, I did my waist, I added my 1 inch dart and then sewing allowances. I did my shoulder slopes, and for the neck width I made use of 3.5 inches. I slanted my shoulders, I added my half inch for my shoulder joining, and then I carved out the neckline like a round neckline, and of course it's going to be having like a slash in the front. So that is basically what I'm doing. So if you see what I'm doing now, you would understand that it's just like a normal basic bodice. So that is my dart. I'm trying to get the dart come down by 1 inch from your chest line, and then take your half inch on both sides, and you're good to go. So I'm basically cutting this out like so. And this is our front piece. So now I'll be cutting the back piece. Place unfold again, add your 1 inch for zip, and then for the neck depth I made use of 2 inches, and then I'll cut it out like so. So the only difference between the front is the neck depth and then the zipper allowance. So I'm slanting the zipper area to avoid bulginess, and that is what we have. So now I'll be cutting facing for this front and the back pieces. That is what I'm going to be doing basically right about now. So fold your leftover fabrics and then cut out the facing. If you don't know how to cut a facing, kindly indicate in the comment section and I will make a tutorial on that. Facing always makes your work neater and easier. So, but if you want to make use of a bias, you can go ahead and do that. But I would advise you make use of a facing for this kind of tutorial, because it's going to be making your work look very, very neat. So we have the facings ready. So what I'll do now is just to go ahead and join the joinables, and then I'll be right back to show you. Okay, so for the sleeves, sorry, I beg your pardon, I'm cutting my sleeves once and for all. I'm cutting the two sleeves at the same time. So this is just like cutting a basic sleeve. The only difference is that you're going to be making your armhole the same, because there's no pleat on the armhole area, but the lower part I'll be attaching an elastic band. So for your round sleeve measurement, do well to double that, so that by the time you add your elastic, it's going to be giving you that puffy effect that it had on the thumbnail. So that is basically how I cut that out. So I have my two sleeves, and that is how it's going to be looking. So now we'll go over to joining. So I've already gone ahead to use my facing to turn the neckline. As you can see, I've sewn the lower parts of the crotch, and I've even joined it together at the half length. And of course I added the pockets, side pockets. So you can see this is the front. I've done my darts, I've done everything. I've not even given it a press at all here. That's why it's flying everywhere. So I'll be doing that later on. So that's the front piece. And then of course this is the back pieces. It's now a back piece because it's no longer in pieces. I've already joined everything, turned it with line neck, the facing, left my zipper allowance, and then joined the pockets as well. And then I've joined the trousers. I've added it to the half length. So now the next thing is to join the shoulders. Take my normal measurement, the actual measurements of the client, and then run it on both sides, and then fix my sleeves, and then I'll be right back to show you how it looks. So you can see this is how it came out. It came out very, very beautiful. Yeah, so this is the sleeve. As you can see, I've got how to do it. You can see that I've already attached the elastic band right there, and I was at this point I'd given it a press, so it's not flying everywhere again. So for the facing, you can just use your hemming gum to finish it up so that it won't be flying up and down and everywhere. So at the end of the day, this is how our jumpsuit looks. It looks very, very beautiful, clean and beautiful. So if you enjoyed watching this tutorial, please kindly subscribe, kindly like, kindly share, and kindly give this video a thumbs up. So the next tutorial, I'm going to be making a tutorial on a jumpsuit without half cut. That is, you're not going to be joining it on the half length. So that is what I'll be making on my next tutorial. So kindly watch out for that. And as usual, this is Genius Signatures and I'm signing out. Bye.